Good morning, everyone. Hope you all have a good day and are safe somewhere at work, or if you're home and you're waking up now, you guys are having a good day. So what's up, people? How y'all doing, man? I'm just here waiting for my sister to come pick me up. Fortunately, she's gonna be picking me up later on. I thought I thought she was gonna pick me up early. Um, I got a hoodie on because my AC is really, really cold in the living room, so I gotta put on a hoodie. It'd be mad cold. Excuse me. So, how's everybody doing? I just wanted to touch bases with you guys. And hello. Hold on a second. Hello. Hello. I can't read comments, or I'm trying my best. I can see the word hello a lot. So, hello, everyone. Well, anyways, I just wanted to talk about myself and what has happened to me, and my testimony with the Lord Jesus Christ. Back in December, I caught a heart attack and was rushed to the hospital. I drove myself to the hospital, actually. They wanted to check my heart, so they did, with one of those cameras that they put on your wrist, and it goes down your arm, goes into your chest, and they were looking at my heart. When they saw that, they told me that they're gonna have to give me an emergency open bypass surgery, heart surgery. I freaked out, I wasn't ready for that, you know what I'm saying? So they said that I had the three coronary arteries clogged at 75%, and they would have to bypass all three of them. I told them no. I told them I'm not sorry, but I'm not gonna get operated. Hell no. You know what I'm saying? I said no. So then I left the room, and they sent me back upstairs to the other room. And then the nurse, actually, like, a doctor came up, started talking to me to see if he could change my mind. He told me, due to your age, you could do pretty good. We can do this. We do this all the time, blah, blah, blah. You're going to be fine. I understand where you're coming from. You're nervous. You're scared, and I was like, yeah, I am scared. This was in December, okay? Um, and I told him, but I don't want to go forward with this. I'm I just want to go to my family, you know what I mean? It was the holidays. I just wanted to go to my family. In my mind, I'm thinking, if I die next to my family, not in the hospital, whatnot. So another doctor came, a female doctor came, after several male doctors coming up trying to change my mind. I said no. She came and she kind of like scared me even more when she said, well, if you walk out of here right now, you could catch a heart attack and you can die, right? I told her, well, you know what? I'm willing to take my chances, right? Um, and she said, okay, so I'm going to have to get the paperwork done, blah, blah, blah. And she brought me the paperwork. And no, she didn't bring me the paperwork. It was another nurse. And she said, okay, you can go home now. And I said, but wait, she said that I had to sign something. She goes, really? Let me go find out. And then she came back and she goes, oh, she said you all said you don't have to sign nothing. So, okay, I left, went home. Um, for 2 weeks, didn't catch those pains in my chest that I thought was a heart attack. My the second week, me and my girlfriend went to Kentucky Fried and we ate a meal. It was like around 8 p.m. It was the middle of winter still. It was in the winter. Um, and I drive home. Um, and when I get home and I get out of my truck, I get this pain in my chest again that radiated into my neck and up my jaw. Okay, right here up the jaw. And it hurt it again and I freaked out. And I looked at my girl and I said, either I go to the hospital and get checked again, or I'll stay home and drop dead. And she was like, oh, it must be the power drinks that you've been drinking. And I'm like, I don't know. I never, I don't know. This was the same pain. So she said, okay. So, I left to the hospital. I drove to the hospital myself. So, um, at the hospital, I tell them my situation. And I tell them 2 weeks ago, I was there for the same problem. So all of a sudden, like a doctor came out of nowhere, like quick. He said, okay, Mr. Perez, so what you gonna do? You want to take the operation, or you want to take the surgery, or what you want to do? I mean, we can do you the surgery today and you'll be all right, and you'll be fine. Your age, I mean, if you was like 60 or 70 years old, I would be cautious about it, but because due to your age, we feel that you're going to do just fine. I said, all right. I said, you know what? God is with me. I'm willing to do whatever it takes with God by my side, And so they left, came back. They said, you're taking Plavix. It's a blood thinner. You're taking Plavix. It's a blood thinner. So we're going to need you. We're going to have you in the hospital for 5 days before we operate you. And I was like, why? And they were like, because if we cut you up, you could bleed to death. So we got to wait until that medication gets out your body. It takes about 5 days. I was like, okay. Waited 5 days in the hospital. The 5th day, they took me in around 6 o'clock in the morning to do the surgery, and then I just signed some paperwork there for the anesthesia, and that's all I, you know what I'm saying? Like that's all I signed. So they did that, and then after that, I didn't remember nothing. They were bringing me to the operating room, and I don't remember nothing after that because I guess they were giving me the anesthesia on my way to the room, that surgery room. And all I remember is waking up in the ICU, looking at my sister and my girlfriend both crying, screaming and crying because they couldn't believe how I looked. I was real swollen. I had a tube down my mouth. My tongue was sticking out of the next on top of the tube. I looked a mess, um, and they thought that I was dead. But I opened my eyes and I told them, hey, I waited until the doctor pulled out the oxygen tube. And I told my girlfriend and my sister, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm alive. Uh, so my sister got happy about it and my girlfriend, and they stood around with me until they said they told her that I'm gonna have to be there a day in ICU, and they were gonna stop the visitation, whatever. So they had to leave, and they left. The next day, they sent me upstairs. Um, they sent me to a room upstairs. I went to the room. They gave me. Actually, I couldn't take a shower yet because, they cut me up. I don't know if you can see that. Uh, I got a scar from up here all the way down towards my esophagus, the thing down there, like a bone on the ribs. And then I got two holes on this side. So I couldn't take a shower until they begin healing, right? Um, but I didn't feel no pain in my chest. You would think that you would get pain after a surgery like that because they cut you up, they take your ribs, they separate it, they take your heart, they start working on your heart or whatever. You know, it's just talking about it freaks me out. Um, and then they sew you back up, or they put like a metal piece on your ribs and they clamp them together. But I didn't get no pain whatsoever. It was painless for me. I would cough, no pain. I would have to use the bathroom, no pain. It was a miracle. I felt like God at that moment was protecting me from pain. Um, and he did a lot, man, because they the only thing that messed me up was that after the surgery, everybody, my family, my friends came over to say hi and talk to me. I was fine. I was able to see, talk. I was happy with them. I was planning my future with my girlfriend. I was planning on how I'm going to work more and how we're going to travel to Italy to go see Milan, Italy. I'm not Italian, but I'm fascinated by Italy. I see videos and stuff, and I love it. It looks like a very beautiful country that I would love to go see and visit. But the second day that I was upstairs, I wake up and my eyes were not the same. They were, I was seeing lights moving around every obstacle, like lights going like this. I would see like shadows running back and forth, like if there was an animal in front of me walking, running, back and forth, and I seen uh, I was hallucinating. I put it that way. I was hallucinating. I was like, the hell's wrong with my eyes, right? So then I called the nurse and I said, hey, there's something wrong with my eyes. I can't see like I was. I'm seeing lights flashing in and out. Uh, and I need somebody to tell me what's going on. And they called the doctors. The doctors came in like maybe uh, 45 minutes later. They came in and they were looking at me. They asked me questions. And I told them all I did was go to sleep. But I did explain to them that one of the nurses overnight came into my room and she gave me a medication, but she was doing it in the dark, and she put the medication in an IV that was connected to my neck straight to my heart. I don't know what medication was that. I don't know what it was for, but I did explain to them that I told her that the minute she did that, I felt this heaviness on my shoulders and on my head. Like it went over my head and it went right back down my spine and my shoulders. And I told the nurse when she gave me that medication, I said, hey, is this supposed to happen? And she was like, you'll be fine. You're good. Don't worry about it. All right? No problemo, you know? Um, I go to sleep. When I wake up, I'm bugging out. My eyes are tripping. So the doctors are all looking at me, and then they're looking at me. They're trying to investigate what's going on. They tell me that this never happened before on an open heart surgery. They don't know how I lost my eyesight. Um, this is like the first time ever in Bay State Hospital. And, you know, I was scared. I was worried, you know, um, and freaked out, you know. I was like, wow, you know, what's going to happen to me after that? You know what I'm saying? So they called in an ophthalmologist, and the ophthalmologist showed up like the, the same day, but like in 3 hours. And he checked me out. He opened my pupils with, he dilated my pupils and he looked in it. And for some reason, when he did that, this this eye got worse. It got worse. So I'm telling the ophthalmologist, I say, whatever you did, it got worse on my right eye. And he's like, really? Don't tell me that. Seriously? I say, yeah. He said, okay. He checked both my eyes. But they didn't mention nothing to me. They didn't tell me what was wrong with me. They didn't tell me Zippo. He went over there and went to talk to the doctors. Then, like maybe 4 hours later, the doctors showed up back in my room and they were like, okay, this is what's going on. Since you're a diabetic, what happened was that you lost oxygen in your eyes, lack of oxygen in your eyes. It's called NION. It's a condition called NION. And I said, how, you know, how does that happen and why did it happen? And they blame my diabetes, you know. Oh, you're a diabetic, you know, and you're the first case that ever happened to, but that's probably what happened. And I'm thinking like, there's no way. I came in here for an operation for a heart surgery, and now I have no eyesight like I used to. My eyesight's not the same. And I'm under your care. So you guys better figure this out. You know what you guys are gonna do, because you know we're talking about my life. Um they were like, well, we're gonna set you up in a, we're gonna set you up. We're gonna give you the doctor's number so you could call him up, the ophthalmologist number again. Call him up, make an appointment with him, and see him. All right. So they gave me his number, and they told me I could go home. Like 2 days later, they told me I could go home. Um, Mind you, the reason the hospital let me go was because they needed the extra room. Exactly. I felt like trash. I felt like a piece of shit after that. They didn't take my shit serious. They just sent me home. You know, I went home, uh, and then my eyes were bugging out again, and I was getting very, very depressed. I started praying to the Lord to help me out and all that good stuff, you know. And I went to see the doctor 2 months later. He wasn't very informative. I didn't like the vibe he was giving me. So he was just like, usually you should be getting your eyesight back within 2 weeks, and it's been past 2 weeks and you're still the same. But it usually takes like 2 to a year, 2 to a year to get your eyesight partially back, not 100%. And I'm thinking a year. You know what I mean? You gotta be bugging. I gotta wait for a year to get my eyesight back. But what he failed to tell me was that my right eye was blind already, you know? And he knew this, but he failed to tell me that my right eye was blind. Um, I knew that already, but, when he told me that my eyesight should get back, oh, excuse me, I felt that it was gonna get better. And it didn't. It didn't till this day, you know. Um, After that, I seen them one more time, and he explains to me about what is Nyan, how I got it, blah blah blah. But he told me a totally different thing. He didn't say. He just said a lack of oxygen in my eyes, but they didn't explain to me how that happened, how that would happen. Uh, I asked him if he could find or recommend me somewhere where they could help me out as soon as possible. I need help, you know, someone with more technology and more knowledge of what's going on with my life. And he recommended me to go to um, Mass General in Springfield, the eye, ear, and mouth emergency room near Mass General. And I went over there with my sister and a friend, and they they did the test right away. Like they gave me a whole bunch of tests and all that shit on my eyes right away, right? But after that, everything slowed down. They told me that my optic nerve was found pale. So I asked them, what does that mean? They said I got damage to my optic nerve, and I said, can anybody tell me how does that happen? So they said, well, we're gonna have to give you more tests, um, more blood tests and all that good stuff. So they did. It came back that I had too much protein in my blood. And I explained to them that's because that's all I was eating, protein, like green avocados, salad, eggs, everything that had to do with protein, I was drinking a protein drink constantly every day too. And the doctor was like, "Oh, that explains everything, but I want you to see a neurologist." So he gives me an appointment to see a neurologist in Northampton. I go see him. Um, the minute I got there, I caught a bad vibe also. He's like, "Well, there's nothing I can do. I don't have no medications here. I don't know what else to do for you. But I suggest you make an appointment back at Mass General. They're the ones with the technology and with the researches that's going on over there for optic nerve damage is doing pretty good, blah blah blah." He said, "Go over there, try to make an appointment. I will refer you. I'll send a referral to them." So I was like, okay. So he sent a referral to them, and then they called me up, and I made the appointment. And guess what? I have to wait till April next year for to see that doctor. A whole year. Like I was like, wow, this is not happening to me, right? So I guess they're popular over there when it comes to the eyesight. And that destroyed me. I'm like, wow, why a year? And I explained to the lady, can you give me something sooner? She goes, there's nothing else I can do. That's the appointments that we have available. He's pretty booked, blah, blah, blah. So I kept myself strong. And the other doctor from Northampton, the neurologist, calls me up and says, hey, we found your autoimmune, you have protein A, so your autoimmune is active and we need to find out why. And I asked him, what is autoimmune? He said it's generally like you might have a disease, an infection in your body or a disease like cancer and all that stuff. And by him telling me that, I'm already like, wow, I survived a heart attack and I'm going to die from cancer. You know, like this is never ending. What the hell, So he made an appointment with a rheumatologist. I'm going to say it again, rheumatologist. That's another type of doctor that checks for autoimmune diseases and make sure that that's what it is. And he told me that this person could give me medication if I have an autoimmune, and usually the medication will help me get my vision back, blah blah blah. I'm like happy. I'm like, all right, that sounds good. But he made me an appointment. I had to wait 4 months. I still gotta wait. I still haven't seen her. I see her next week. The rheumatologist. Um, oh man, I'm so sorry. So they give me. He gives me the appointment. Blah blah blah, etc. And I start getting anxious because I want help, and everybody's making me wait. Everybody. So I told my ophthalmologist the last time I went to see him. I told him, can you make me some glasses at least to help me with my one eye to see better? And he said, no, that's not going to be able to help you. And I said, well, I know someone that made some glasses for someone I know that had a dead eye and he was half blind, and same exact thing happened to him what happened to me. And this doctor made some glasses for him and changed his whole life. The guy goes to work, he drives a bike, home, back and forth, and he's doing great. his life got so much better. It's been 2 years. His life has been better. He's been telling me, or telling my wife, because he works where my wife works. So he's my ophthalmologist said, sure. And I said the name of the doctor. He's a great doctor. All right, I'm going to send your records down to him, and you go ahead and make an appointment, blah, blah, blah. If he wants to take over, if he decides to take over your files, and he wants to be your doctor from now on, just don't make an appointment with me then. I said, okay. And I left. And I made the appointment. It was for 3 months later. When I finally went to see that doctor, I was anticipating. I was feeling great, feeling good. But I noticed another bad vibe off of him, and he sits down, introduces himself to me, blah, blah, blah. And then I tell him what's going on with me. And then he goes, how did you find me? How did you hear about me? I said, somebody recommended you, that you changed his life. Or he's, oh, really? Okay. And I said, so I came to you to see if you give me the same miracle. And I start smiling. And he goes, well, I don't make miracles. And after looking at your chart and all that stuff, I don't think I could do anything for you, but just wait and see if your eyes, the only eye you have available that sees, gets better. You still got like six more months to for your eye to get better. I was like, okay, I guess, and it broke me, because I thought he was gonna be the one that was gonna care and take care of me the right way, but he probably cared and he couldn't do anything about it. But he didn't even give it a try. He didn't even try to check on my eyes and see if he could make them a little bit of glasses. Nothing. And I left, and I was crying like a mofo. I was crying. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, man, why this is happening to me, Lord, And I hear a voice in my head telling me, my son, I will take care of you. Have patience. And I'm like, nah, that's got to be me thinking that, you will be blessed. And I was like, in my head, like, that's great. So I go to my ophthalmologist again for an appointment, and they tell me that my eye is getting better, that's great news. And I was like, wow, get out. You know what I mean? Like, wow, that's awesome. So I thanked the Lord. I thanked him. Everything. I was going all out for the Lord and praying and thanking him for the blessing, And my eyes are still the same. Well, today I feel a little different. I feel more confident with my left eye. The lighting doesn't bother my eye as much, but it still bothers me. My right eye is still blind, like I can't see nothing, it's pitch black. I would like them to work on the eye that's not seeing, like a surgery or something, laser surgery, whatever. See if it could help me. So I'm thinking about talking to the doctor again, my ophthalmologist, and asking him if he could do surgery or something on my right eye and get it back to normal. And I've been praying to God about that almost every night, I'm sorry if I'm closing my eyes too much. It's just the light. Let me put on my sunglasses. Give me a second. Okay, much better. So I see the doctor again, and he tells me that my eyes is declining again. I freak out. I start crying again. I get really depressed. Um, I've been thinking a lot about it's insane. I've been having a lot of suicidal thoughts, and I avoid it because I hear that voice telling me, "Don't do it. Don't do it." And I'm holding on to the Lord. I'm letting everything. I'm putting everything on Him, um, and hopefully, one day I wake up with both eyes 100%. That's my that's my story. Um, I can't see, man. Oh, messy. I'm guessing you're from New York. Yes, I am. I'm from Brooklyn, but I live in Massachusetts now. Been out here since I was 22. Am I African American? You people, yo, are you seriously asking me that dumbass question? If I'm African American? Wow. You must be colorblind or something. I'm Puerto Rican. Wow, that people could be so fucked up and rude in here. Like, it's unbelievable. You know, I'm talking about a serious thing that happened to me, and there's people in here just making jokes. I guess that's Facebook. I mean, YouTube. Do you do some work? Do some work. Do some work on what? Anyways, hope you all have a good day. Hope you all have a good day. God bless. Thank you for listening to my story. And talk to you next time I go live. God bless.